Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Game On. I'm your host, Jerry Jacob. This is a new show produced by She Got Game Media, and it's all about success stories. Our guests are celebrities as well as successful rising stars in business, music, and the arts. This is not your average talk show. On Game On, each guest is required to share 5 winning strategies that have made them successful. Hopefully what they have to offer will inspire and motivate you to elevate your brand and get your game on. Today, getting his game on is New York actor, speaker, and retired firefighter Guy Fortt, also known as the Fearless at 50 Guy. Guy Fortt, welcome to Game On.
Thank you, Jerry, and for bringing me on to Game On. Thank you very much.
Great. First and foremost, I've got to ask you, why do they call you the Fearless at 50 Guy?
Well, Jerry, being fearless, I got to be honest. I mean, the trait of, to me, being fearless is wonderful. It's a wonderful trait that has always been a part of who I am. And some of the things that I think about being fearless is being the willingness to undertake things that are involving risks or danger. And I did that for 28 years as a professional firefighter, born and raised in Stamford, Connecticut. I went after it, many years of pushing real hard, and I became a firefighter. I worked down at Ground Zero, Hurricane Katrina, and I just noticed that after, doing all of these things that, being fearless was something that who I am and what I'm about. And my belief that, once you put something out there, like having no fear to accomplish your goals, major things will happen. So I retired from the fire department after 28 years, and then I got right into this game of acting. And my dreams have always been wanting to be an entertainer and get into the television and film world. And my dreams became really big when I had opened up the door of opportunity to being fearless at this Fearless at 50 Guy during the Super Bowl, or a pregame show for the Super Bowl and many commercials that I've done. So I think I basically think that.
Saw it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I saw it. That was awesome. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, I think that we as humans, we've lost that ability to believe, believe in order to make things really happen. And I believe that if you just believe and then you speak it into existence, it will exist. So I know being fearless is something that I'm all about.
Right. That's actually, as part of Game On, it's all about success stories. So, Guy, you had, among your strategies was fearlessness. Now, is this something that you felt early in life? Because you said you spent about 28 years as a firefighter. Is that part of why you became a firefighter, or did you have this same feeling throughout?
No, I got to be honest with you, Jerry. The reason why I became a professional firefighter, if you don't mind me speaking about it, when I was a young man around the age of 21, I actually witnessed a murder of a young lady that I was dating at her home on my birthday, and that right there made me say that I needed to get an understanding of, being able to help lives and save lives. And after that incident occurred in my life, it actually brought about a new mindset of, what I needed to do and how I needed to change and how I needed to create opportunities to get to my next level. And, her murder led me into the fire department. That's what motivated me to become this fearless type of guy, this guy that had to succeed and this guy that has to help lives and change lives and save lives.
Wow. No, I give you credit because, it could have been channeled in other ways. So to the extent you channeled it here is really, a true success.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. I wanted to, you had mentioned a couple of the strategies, and if you don't mind, I'd like you to, elaborate. You talked about fearlessness, and one of the things that's true to my heart is just change, which is,
right.
People talk about change, but tough to come by, tough to adjust to it. Tell me about that, Guy.
Well, so I believe, again, that the question isn't who is going to let me. It's who is going to stop me. And now in my life, that murder, that incident changed how I actually trusted, people. It changed my thought process on how I needed to navigate history and navigate my life to see who I can trust and who I couldn't trust. Jerry, change is basically you need to make a shift, or you need to undergo a modification, or something like that. And you can't really change what's going on around you. You have to first start with the change what's in you. And after I entered that, I knew that I needed to change. I knew joining a job like the fire department could change how I view the world and how I would forever pretty much view mankind. So a friend of mine by the name of Ron Thomas, when we were the two first African Americans to be hired by the Greenwich Fire Department in 1985, and that change, that traumatic incident, changed me so well that I became a lieutenant at the fire department. It showed me how to help people. It actually increased my awareness of who to trust and how to deal with people. Made me go down to ground zero. I was down at ground zero for 3 weeks. I was at Hurricane Katrina, helping out with the folks there for many weeks. So, unfortunate incidences like that will create opportunities that could be for the betterment of man, and that's what happened with me.
So it's interesting. So it's again, I thank you for your service. It goes without saying, and thank you for that. But it almost seems like you're talking about change actually in your life has caused opportunities. And do you think that's true for most?
Yeah, I think people, when they go through certain situations or certain dialogues in their lives, either you will take it from a positive perspective, or like you said earlier, you can go in another route, and that other route can be that of negative. And for me, I just looked at my life at that time at 21 years old, not knowing where who I was going to be. Those are very informative years. Even though I'm somewhat of an adult, I'm still a young man, and those impressions that people make around you, may they be people who are mentoring you, or incidences like that, could have really damaged me forever. And I took that negative light and created a positive light in order to move forward in my life. And I got to say today, man, I'm on fire, man. I'm fearless for change. I'm making it happen. I'm going after my dreams. I'm persevering through the fire, and I'm really happy where I am right now.
Yeah, I can hear it in your voice. I'm sure we can all hear it. I mean, it's almost even though we're on the phone lines, I feel like you're giving me a shot. Do you know what I mean? In terms of that, that invigoration and inspiration. And you mentioned perseverance, and you also touched on trust, which that's an interesting word in life, especially as you get to whether it be 40 or 50. Tell me about that. You selected trustworthy, and
being trustworthy, obviously. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. That was it. I apologize.
I was saying being trustworthy basically is, you have to formulate within your mind of being honest and being faithful and dependable, dependent upon people who are going to help you through circumstances. You got to be able to know who is going to get you where you need to be in your life. You got to know how you're going to get there. Sometimes you don't know how you're going to get there, because sometimes people come right towards you from out of nowhere, but it did come from somewhere, and it can get you to your next level. So trustworthy is a really, really big component of who I am, because you just never know from what angle someone is going to come help you. Now, you spoke about perseverance. With perseverance, you got to have, to me, perseverance means you got to have tenacity. You got to have staying power and be persistent about your dreams and getting after it. One of my favorite quotes from Julie Andrews, she said, perseverance is falling 19 times and succeeding the 20th. You know what I mean? You keep falling down,
exactly.
but you get back up, and you just don't start. Just don't stop. Perseverance is the hard work that you do, and after you get tired of the hard work you already did, you got to just continue on in your dreams and aspirations. Know where you're going, understand what's in front of you, and have that tenacity to go after those who you think might not help you. It could be a phrase, it could be a word, it could be a look, it can be whatever you need in order to get to your next level. And I believe that I've always dreamt of being in the entertainment world, and even going back when I was down at Ground Zero, if you don't mind me telling you the story.
No,
going back when I was down at Ground Zero, I saw a reporter by the name of Ashley Banfield. You ever heard of her?
Yes, of course. Yes, I think on CNN, if I remember.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right, and this is when she was just starting out. Well, she asked me to come over to talk to her about what I saw on the pile down there at Ground Zero, at that horrific scene. So I talked to her, and I was on TV. The next day, I get a call from a casting director who saw me on that interview with her, and next thing I know, I was doing a television commercial for Johnson & Johnson. I became the national spokesman for Johnson & Johnson, the nurses campaign. So perseverance, getting after your dreams, striving for perfection. Even though you can't be perfect, you just continue to go. And right now, at 50, I am still grasping after those visions that I saw years ago. And I got to be honest with you, Jerry, it's happening.
That is great. That is great. Obviously, it sounds like it is what it is. I read your biography and was so impressed because you're, I hate to throw around Renaissance too easily, but the whole idea of a speaker acting on stage, wow. What an accomplishment after your experience as a firefighter.
Jay, I got to be honest with you.
Struck me. Go ahead, please.
I was going to say, I've got to be honest with you. I never really truly had dreams of going on Broadway, and so one day my wife asked me, "Hey, won't you go and see if you can go into this open call for The Color Purple?" I said, "Okay, let me give it a shot." I walked in the room, I read, and I was so nervous, I ran out the room. The guy said, "Excuse me, where are you going?" He said, "I want to see you sing." I sang. Next thing I know, I get a call. Well, thank you very much. We did not choose you for the national tour of The Color Purple on Broadway. Color Purple. I was like, fine, that's beautiful. I have 4 beautiful children. I need to stay home. I need to work at the firehouse. Next thing you know, Jay, I get a call from them, and they tell me, hey, you're going on Broadway. You're going on Broadway to The Color Purple with Shaka Khan and Fantasia.
Wow.
I was like, you see what I mean? That's persevering. That's getting after it and making it happen.
I appreciate that, Guy. The last thing you mentioned, and we have a short amount of time, about a minute, a little bit, and it obviously this is what you're talking about. This is all about it, and most interesting to me is you talked about self-motivation and what gets you. How does that happen for you?
Well, you think about it, Jerry. Self-motivation. It's about the achievements. You got to think about the achievements in your life, and you got to examine your thoughts to understand what you can, build upon. To me, self-motivation is looking at my goals for myself and then trying to achieve them. And I remember when I was a young man, I was working out at the YMCA. I always got to go back to stories, Jerry.
Guy,
I was a young man working out.
I don't mean to interrupt. We're just very short of time, so I did want to end on that, and I really appreciate your time.
Okay.
So I just want to end by saying, hey, these are the ingredients that has made Guy Fortt a success. I hope it inspires you. And Guy, where can we learn more about you? Please tell us your website or.
Yeah, you can go to at Twitter at Guy Gaya Fortt Fortt, or Instagram Guy A Fortt, same thing, or hashtag Fearless at 50 Guy, or either Facebook. You can go to Facebook / Guy.Fortt.
Great. Again, thanks for being a guest on Game On. Thank you, Guy.
Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate it.